Sauce Gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another game theory reaction for you, and I'm stoked about this one because he is back talking about the spooky ARG scary game called Welcome Home, and this video is called Game Theory Answer the Call. Welcome Home. The last video absolutely blew my mind that this is kind of made for kids because it's kind of disturbing and it's really dark, but I'm stoked to see what MatPat and his crew comes up with on this one. But before we jump in, why don't you show MatPat at Game Theory some love by subscribing to his channel, and if you enjoy my reaction, smash that subscribe button because greatly helps. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo, woo. Oh, what you got for us, MatPat? What you got, bro? See what I'm saying? Hello. Oh, and I forgot about all the eyes everywhere looking at you.
Let me in.
Nope. Nope. Go away. No one's home.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to
Game Theory,
the show that thinks that you are just the most. And I am just the most excited because after 3 long months, we finally have ourselves an update to Welcome Home.
Let's
the retro
go.
website that's brimming with beautiful artwork and sinister secrets. The retro website that's brimming with beautiful artwork and sinister secrets. When we covered this project back in May, I was blown away by how impressive this was. From the fantastic character designs to the deeply unsettling world building, Clown, the project's creator, has crafted something that's really special here. A clever story about an old 70s TV edutainment show starring puppets that was mysteriously taken off the air. Beginning to notice a trend with all these online horror projects lately. Nah, it's probably nothing. The show itself revolved around a cast of quirky puppets. The joyful Julie, the clumsy Puppy, the rambunctious Sally, the reliable Eddie, the friendly Howdy, the grumpy Frank, the streetwise Barnaby, and of course, the lead, Wally Darling. Basically what you get when you throw Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and Elmo into a blender. The show itself, as we can learn through the website, would basically flow like your typical kids program. Wally would take the audience around the neighborhood and learn different life lessons alongside his friends. It would eventually disappear from the airwaves, with the only remains being gathered up and put back together on this very site by a group known as the Welcome Home Restoration Project. But of course, like most things that you find on the internet, not everything is as it first appears. In my last video, I went through the website and uncovered its many secrets, from messages hiding inside of Wally's drawings to hidden images that revealed Welcome Home to be a cult, with several images showing Wally in a position of power as the cult's leader, all built to worship some Cthulhu-like entity, the home itself, Wally's sentient house. In that video, I concluded that Wally was trying to reawaken Home, sending the Restoration Project all these letters and drawings in the hopes that they would gather people into the fandom for their eventual indoctrination. And before the update, that's exactly what it looked like, with the Restoration Project preparing a Welcome Home exhibition that was set for the near future. But soon after my theory came out, the website went dark, disappeared completely. That was until July, when the Welcome Home website sprung back to life with a massive update. And I do mean massive. We got more than just some cute new pictures and hidden codes this time. We've got audio files from the show, talk show interviews, merchandise, and oh yeah, giant eyes watching our every move. Those eyes belong to Wally. Now he's watching us more closely than ever. But the joke's on you, Wally. I've already dug through every corner of this thing, and I know exactly how you plan to gather more followers. I also know that one of your precious flock, one of your puppet friends there, is waiting in the wings to betray you. So join us, loyal theorists. Join us. Join us. Join us. Join us. As we pull back the curtain and reveal the difference between puppet and
I don't want to join.
Let's just start with the big cliffhanger from the previous theory, the upcoming exhibition for Welcome Home. This event was a chance to share the history of the show with the world, but from the website's newsletter, it definitely seemed like something a lot more sinister. It read as follows, quote, "Together we will get it out. We will get everything out. You will see as we do, neighbor." Just gonna go and leave that invitation on red.
My neighbor.
Very much. As I already mentioned, I suspected that this event was meant to gather people together to make them part of Wally's cult. result. So imagine my surprise when on the updated website, I saw that there was a brand new page dedicated to that very exhibition, and nothing really happened. Here I was, expecting images of destroyed displays, news articles of a disaster, maybe a message written on a wall in blood. That's not too much for a guy to ask, right? But instead, all I saw were vinyl records, an activity worksheet, a mock-up Wall-E puppet. I was wrong. The most exciting thing on there was the merch. Merch that was almost as exciting as our new merch over on TheoryWear.com, which includes a color-changing t-shirt activated by your body heat, game theory leggings with sleek green piping and a phone pocket, and of course, the villainous Urple jacket.
Back to school.
I promise. No, something had to be off on this website. The main thing on the page was a short interview with the mysterious museum curator simply known as the Question Answerer. As they said on the exhibition page, quote, "I still have so many questions to answer here in the world of Welcome Home. You and me both there, QA. You and me both." Which means that it's time to do what you always do when you're stuck in Need Answers in an ARG. Click anything and everything on the screen. And sure enough, my gut and brute force was right. There was actually something hidden here on the page. If you click the word answer from the Question Answerer quote I just read, you're taken to a page with a single image of a notebook. On this notebook, we see someone has been trying over and over again to find a password, but a password for what? Well, to find out, all you have to do is click the image, revealing a red safe with keys that represent the various characters from the series. Clicking again takes us to a blank guest area that requests a password. According to the notebook, the code is going to be 5 letters. And go figure, those worksheets from the exhibition also have 5 questions. With each answer,
could it be just all W's? 5 W's?
Being one of the residents of home, lining up with the keys on the safe. Who's the funniest neighbor? Has to be the residential jokester Barnaby. Who shines brighter than any star? Sally Starlet. Who's the biggest chicken? Our knockoff Big Bird, Poppy. Which neighbor speaks to flowers? According to character profiles, it's Julie. And who's your best friend? Well, that one there has to be our main character, Wally. And if we take the first letter from each answer, B, S, P, J, and W, and type all that in, we're rewarded with the staff-only page. And before I show it to you, let me just say that there is so much going on here, it is gonna burst your theorist brain. The page isn't like anything we've seen before. There's a bunch of text, but it's all at strange angles. The title's been copied so many times it's almost illegible. There's even some redacted text thrown in here for good measure. There's also a new group of photos that don't seem nearly as upbeat as the main site. And there we have it, my bloody walls. Can finally rest easy. But really, the image that grabbed my eye here was this one. An image of art supplies with a couple of no touching signs sticking out of the box. Hey, you don't tell me what I do or do not do sign. But in all seriousness, look at the note that's sitting on top of the pile of latex gloves. Put on gloves before handling any art. Call me if we run out. Those signs there aren't for visitors, they're for the staff. And it's important. I mean, you're not just writing 4 exclamation points there for no reason. In a later image, we find an email warning staff about a strange substance that's growing on the artwork. Quote, "If a substance begins to grow on anything delivered, please place it back in the box it was shipped in and return it to us at your leisure. If you or anyone in your team experiences nausea, dizziness, or fatigue, please don't be alarmed." Yeah, because when I touch something that suddenly makes me sick, my first response is clearly gonna be, this is totally fine. We can actually see the substance on the first image with the glove box. One of the gloves has actually been used and is covered with a paint-like goop, which matches what we see on the art pieces from the About Us page. The artwork is being delivered like this, and whatever's on it is not good for you. It seems connected to this line of secret text from the website's original FAQ page. Quote, "When I unwrapped the first letter, I felt it. I heard it. Open, open, open. I want it out. I'm going to get it out." It's not just making people sick, it's literally giving Wally an entry point. Seems that once you touch the paint, he can speak to you, indoctrinate you, brainwash you. In fact, it now appears to be happening to someone on the staff-only page. Here's the quote.
"I had a dream when I began working on the Playfellow exhibition. Wally Darling was sitting at the foot of my bed with a rotary phone in front of him, ringing away. It looked just like the little toy phone we were restoring for the exhibit. It kept ringing. Wally stared at me like he was waiting for me to pick up the phone. Just staring, unblinking, the phone ringing and ringing. I couldn't move. I couldn't figure out how to move and pick up the phone. He kept waiting. I couldn't pick up the phone. I keep getting phone calls now, or at least I assume that's what's happening. I keep hearing it ringing all day sometimes. I check my phone, and there's no new messages."
The writer is being driven mad by the same substance, hearing the call of Wally and his call. I told you,
this ARG is scary, Chad.
You should be hearing the call, my call, of hitting that subscribe button. Just click the button to answer the phone in the next 5 seconds to make that ringing stop. Please, please make the ringing stop. Thanks, you're just the most. No let's figure out what's going on with this note. The note goes on to talk about how they tore up the workspace to find the ringing, and that they pored over every recovery the Welcome Home Restoration Project has given me access to, including their website. Given that they're speaking about the organization in the third person, and they seem to be the one responsible for all the mess that we see backstage of the exhibit, it leads me to believe that this is the person put in charge of the whole thing, the question answerer. A professional exhibitor and museum curator who believes in our happy home just as much as we do. I actually saw their name pop up in the old website when I was doing my previous theory, but we didn't get much detail about them, so I kinda left them alone. But now, they seem to be playing a much more important role in the story, especially as it was their quote that led us to the staff page in the first place. The QA's been the one handling the artifacts. They've been getting everything set up, and in so doing, they've fallen victim to Wally's trap. What they've also done is tell us where we need to look next to keep our quest going. The question answer keeps referring to a telephone that Wally's holding.
We just need to find a telephone and answer it?
They dismiss the toy phone in the exhibit. Quote, all that was there were the toys for the exhibit, and obviously those couldn't be ringing. But I'm never quite so quick to dismiss any evidence that feels so overtly obvious. The telephone is prominently displayed at the exhibition as official merchandise for the Welcome Home show. And given there's now a merchandise page on the website, felt like the best place to go next. The merchandise page is full of holiday cards, vinyl records, cereals, and coloring books. But the biggest and most important thing they present to us right at the top of the page is the rotary phone. In fact, you can actually interact with this toy on the website. Pressing the buttons allows you to hear responses from the colorful cast of Welcome Home, just as you'd expect from a similar phone toy. Except something isn't quite adding up. Despite the restoration project bringing the phone back to its original working condition, there seem to be some discrepancies between what we see and what the packaging tells us we should be seeing. The box tells us that there should be 16 built-in conversations in this thing, but that's spread across 10 buttons, 2 of which seem to be missing, and with 1 that's actively glitching. The remaining 7 only have 1 response, and they don't even remotely match what's said on the box.
Hello, this is Frank Frankly speaking. Hello. Are you there?
Which means that whatever phone they have, it is not the phone that we see on the box. Additionally, the Wally button doesn't have a play function. The website says his button has a glitch and has been taken offline. But as with most things involving Wally, things aren't exactly as they seem. If you click on the button anyway, you can definitely hear Wally's dialogue, but while all the others are responding awkwardly to a prank phone call, Wally's is a bit different.
Hello? 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 Ha ha ha, I'm only kidding. I know you're there. Did you like my joke? I think you were going to say yes. Ha ha ha.
It isn't an innocent pre-recorded conversation for a toy phone. This is targeted, and it's creepy. While all the others are responding
Super
to a prank
creepy.
call, Wally knows that we're there, and he speaks directly to us. Not about the show, to us, about us.
You have to go too. You have work to do. Remember, until you hear me again, keep your smile merry.
Jeez, bro,
and
what the
always
fudge
know
nuggets?
that I love you very much. Goodbye.
He's planning something big, and he needs his followers to keep up appearances until the time's right.
love
This toy
you,
allows
too.
Wally to speak to his new followers directly, a shepherd to his flock, informing them of the work that's still to come. And while what he has in store is still unknown, he's still finding ways of keeping us busy. Before this update, one of the ways Wally communicated to us was through drawings in a guest book. By opening those up in a separate tab, we'd find hidden messages like, "I can hear you, neighbor." It was unsettling to be sure, but now
Everything
he's back
with this
at it
Wally
again.
guy is
Only
super
this
creepy,
time
dude.
He's doing it across the entire website. When you visit certain pages, you'll watch as Wally begins to draw something on the page before your very eyes. Clicking on each of these newly formed drawings takes you to an audio file, each one directly from Wally.
We've looked into each other's eyes so many times. You're looking at me now.
Once you find all the audio files, you can actually start to see a pattern. The pages the files are from all have single word titles, like soon, I, and neighbor. At first, this might seem random, but if you try to rearrange them, you can form the sentence, "I will help you understand, neighbor. I will find a way soon." Which is super cool on its own, but it doesn't even stop there, because when you play the audio clips in the same order, they create one side of a conversation.
There you are. Welcome home. Ha ha ha. You're the most. You're so still. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? To hear me again? Ha ha ha. I think that means you can hear me. Can you see me? That's okay if you can't. Don't worry. I know you're there. You know I'm here too. I will talk to you. Why won't you answer me, neighbor? Why can't I hear you? You know me. you do? Please open. Let me in. Let me in.
This conversation feels like it's someone who's
No!
already converted.
I'm not letting
someone
you in,
who's
Satan!
waiting to hear from him again, who desires to be a part of home. So, who's he talking to? Well, it matches quite nicely with the note left behind by the question answerer on the staff-only page.
Wally stared at me like he was waiting for me to pick up the phone.
What are you waiting for? To hear me again? Ha ha ha.
I couldn't move. I couldn't figure out how to move and pick up the phone.
You're so still. What are you doing?
And suddenly it becomes clear why he's desperate for the question answerer's attention. Wally might be able to draw over the website, but to spread to more people, to become more powerful, Wally needs to be able to see.
You know how to draw eyes. You draw mine many times. I know it is thanks to you, neighbor, that I can see.
The Welcome Home Restoration Project tried to stop Wally and his influence by shutting down the guest book in this latest update. But underneath that news update is another post, not dated, that says, quote, "So many guest signatures. So many of them are trying to communicate. What are you telling me for? Do you think I can answer? What are you trying to do to me? I'm closing that guest book. I'm not playing this game anymore. The ringing is enough. It's a reluctant follower. It's the question answerer." These eyes everywhere across the site will allow Wally to see into the real world and will help him interact with people on the other side. And the bad news is, it's working, as we see all over the behind-the-scenes photos on the staff-only page. One of the notes tells us about using a black light on all artwork, and for staff to take photos of what they find. Doing this reveals the drawings of eyes, spirals, telephones, phrases like the phone is ringing, all things that we've fairly well covered at this point. But how can we be sure that this is Wally's doing and not someone else? Well, on the emails requesting the 5-letter password that we found earlier, the email response is simply the worksheet. The email is to the question answerer, and the person it was sent to is from part of the WHRP, but their name's redacted. The question answerer prints out these pages after receiving the emails, but under the black light, written underneath everything, we find the identity of the sender, Wally, darling. Wally is signing in invisible ink. He's sending us down rabbit holes. He's providing letters, emails, and now passwords to a safe so that the WHRP can have more conversations with him. The puppet has become the master. However, while it might be easy to jump on the whole Wally is evil bandwagon, I believe that he may actually be just as much of a puppet as anyone else in this thing. In the last theory, I mentioned that there were 2 signatures from Wally in the guest book. One that looked normal,
Wally has a master.
for me, silly, and another that felt a bit more chaotic, you won't write back. This led me to believe that there may be 2 versions of Wally wandering around, one good and one evil. This update seems to be pointing us in a similar direction. In the email that was sent by WHRP that talks about the substance causing nausea, dizziness, and fatigue, we find a note written in invisible ink that says, "I'm so sorry." Wally's apologizing? But isn't this exactly what he wants? To brainwash others to see as he does? It doesn't make a lot of sense, unless there are 2 versions of Wally. On the original website, there was a secret page that showed Wally hiding in shadows, followed by the text, "I can't see you. Do you see me?" In one of the audio clips we found this time, he says,
"It is thanks to you, neighbor, that I can see, but it is still, I can't see."
Wally being able to see or not see is one of the big recurring phrases across the website. So how come he suddenly breaks mid-conversation and then all of a sudden is struggling to speak and says that he can't see anything? Maybe it's not that there are 2 Wallys, but rather one Wally with 2 different sides inside of him. Eyes have always been used to represent Wally, but they've often been accompanied by spirals. We see them throughout the blacklight images, but there was also a spiral beneath home on the old website. Well, if we look at that spiral now, it's grown, it's bigger, and now there's an eye inside of that spiral. The So Below page now reveals a spiral that, when clicked, gives us a recording of home talking in noise. Those noises can actually be translated from Morse code to say hello. Spirals are the signature of home. Eyes are the signature for Wally. And now they're becoming one and the same. They're mixing with each other. Home is controlling Wally. On page 6 of the guest book, we see Wally's written his name, but if you open the image in a new tab, the image is called Our Name. R as in plural ownership. 2 beings inhabiting one body. Wally and home, which explains why Wally contradicts himself mid-sentence. It's his good half, his real half, fighting back, trapped inside his own body, unable to see, barely able to communicate. But with what time he has, he's begging us to stay quiet, to not fall for home's tricks. And he's not the only one that feels trapped here either. There appears to be someone else onto Wally's schemes, someone who's working from the inside of undercover trying to track down the cult's behavior and bring the whole
one of the
operation
people in the
down.
game.
And that, my friends, is gonna have to wait till next time. I know, I'm sorry. This is such a huge update, I haven't even gotten a chance to talk about the bugs crawling across the site or the weird videos of rotten fruit that you can find. Yeah, this thing starts getting real weird from this point forward. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the follow-up theory when it comes out in about a week or two, I would say. One last reminder to check out the latest Theoryware, which is just the most. And as always, in the meantime, remember, it's just a theory.
A game theory. Thanks for watching.
And hey, if you want to check out our first video on Welcome Home, rub up on that video.
We already did. Let me bring you in, chat. Bro, this ARG is just built different again. The fact that it's like this kids show website, not a game, but it is a game. It's so spooky, man, and it's just eerie, that voice. Hello, neighbor. I'm watching you. Are you watching me? Like, dude, that's so creepy. And it's just like hidden behind this like facade of it being friendly and made for children. But anyways, dude, I can't wait for the last one, or maybe it probably won't be the last one, but the next one to come out, because I got way more questions about this. Like, what is going on and what's home? Is home the devil? Is it Satan? I don't know. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you've been to this website and any other stuff maybe that Matt Pat missed. I hope you enjoyed this. Show Matt Pat at Game Theory some love by subscribing to his channel. If you enjoyed my reaction, please help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free and it greatly helps out the channel. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember, Izzy sleep and make beats, and as usual, be kind of one note. That's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Got him a love for the Sauce Gang. Peace out, chat.